Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Crystal here with another TRX for Yoga experience. I have a question for you today. Have you ever thought about doing a headstand and not quite sure where to begin? Or perhaps you have a headstand practice and you're looking to take it to that next level, but you're just not sure what can take you there? Well, you're in luck. Today's practice is all about preparing your body for the peak pose of the TRX headstand. Now, every single pose that we do throughout this flow is going to be preparing your body to get upside down. Today, the intention is not to get it, right? It's not to get that headstand, but to learn about your body. Where do you need more space, more mobility? And where do you need more of a sturdy foundation, more stability? And we're going to work to create both of them synergistically to support your journey forever moving forward in getting upside down. So a couple things I'd like to go over before we get started. Please make sure your suspension trainer is hung up, fully shortened. Grab some blocks. If you don't have blocks at home, a couple of thick hard-covered books or empty shoe boxes would work great. Blocks are going to be important today, or some type of prop. When we get down onto the ground and start to open up those hips, you're going to want to really focus on that neutral alignment, and these help tremendously. Are they mandatory? No, but highly recommended. Lastly, grab a face towel. You're going to be working hard today. You might want to swipe your brow, but also when we come down to the ground for those hip openers, it's great cushion for underneath the knees. So without further ado, let's begin. Please stand facing your suspension trainer. Bring your hands to the foot cradle so we have freedom and range of motion for those wrists. Thumbs to the outside. Begin to walk backwards, hands at about waist height. Bring your big toes to touch. Heels in line with your middle toes, no wider. If this bothers your low back or knees or your hips, bring your feet hips width apart. The intention is to always keep pressure on the straps. So right here, right now, fan out your fingers, ground down into your palms, and lift your sternum away from the tailbone. Feel your core muscles brace, the front side, the back side, the right side, and the left side. To find that starting position, we come into extended mountain. First time is slow with me. Spin your thumbs up to the ceiling. Slowly pull your hands apart and sweep your arms all the way up overhead. Remember, the idea is to keep pressure on the straps. So right here, right now, move forward or backwards so you are standing straight up. You're not leaning. But there is pressure on the straps. Your hands are over your shoulders or in front of the shoulders by an inch or so. Now today especially, we need to focus on creating space in the neck by drawing the shoulders away from the ears. So I want you to know that the closer you bring your thumbs together overhead, the harder it is to maintain that space in your neck. So give yourself permission to separate your hands the width of your shoulders or even a little wider so you have full mobility in those shoulder blades and can draw them down away from the ears. It's going to be really important when you get upside down. And you want to create a healthy habit in that body. Keep the pressure in the straps, slowly return to that starting position, and let's put together our warm-up, the Salutation A Variation. Extended mountain, take a deep breath in. Forward fold, hinge at your hips and reach your hands towards that anchor point. Pause here. Another rule in TRX Yoga is no hanging on the strap. That would look something like this here in the pose, which might feel really good in the moment, but over time your joints will tell you what they think of it, and it's not good. So press into your hands, lift your chest to the height of your hips. As you reach your hands forward, the shoulder blades slide away from the ears. Don't be afraid to separate your hands here. Lift your sitting bones up to the ceiling and peel open the back of your legs. Halfway lift, press into your hands and lift your upper body to about a 45-degree angle from the floor. Once again, those shoulder blades, they draw together and down, and you're pulling your chest away from the hips. Get a side body stretch. Back to your forward fold. Can you reach your hands forward a little more? And that's our 4-part movement to the Sun A. Now let's connect movement with breath. Extended mountain, take a deep breath in. Forward fold, deep breath out. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold and breathe out. You have 3 more. Pull to rise. Pressure on those straps. Breathe in. Fold, push into your hands. Halfway lift is a pull. Forward fold is a push. Extended mountain, fan out your fingers. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Fold. Last one, extended mountain. Keep those shoulders away from the ears. Forward fold, breathe out, belly pulls into spine. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold and breathe out. Sun Salutation B Variation. Bend your knees, drop your hips. TRX chair. We're going to take this slow and put it together. Press into your hands and roll your shoulders up over your hips. Pause. Up until now, we've been focusing on the space in the neck. Keep that. Now let's layer on the other important point with the pelvis. Keep your pelvis neutral. Pull your hip bones up towards the belly button. And now this part is important. Descend your tailbone towards the floor behind your heels. Different from don't tuck the tailbone under. Drop the tailbone behind the heels. You should feel nothing in your low back. Belly pulls in to support that. The more you bend your knees, the more challenging it is for that pelvis, so you're earning the ability to go lower. Option to reach those arms up overhead. So now we're going to focus on keeping the space in the neck. Hands go as wide as necessary while maintaining that neutral pelvis. Take one more deep breath in. Fold and release. Really good work. Single leg mountain. Arms overhead. Watch those shoulders and sweep your right leg out in front of you. Balance on that left foot. So use the straps, pull your body forward. The longer your upper leg, the more intense. So if you bend that upper knee, it'll be more forgiving on that hip flexor. One is not better than the other. You give yourself what you need. Take a deep breath in. Warrior 3. Reach your arms towards the anchor point. Upper leg towards the wall behind you. Pause. Now, along with keeping that pelvis neutral, we want to close the hips. So do that by taking your upper baby toe, spin it to face the floor. If you soften your standing knee, you'll have more movability in that upper leg. Pull the hip bones towards the belly button. Press through your upper heel. Feel your whole body lift up out of that standing hip. And now let's switch sides. Bring your right foot to meet the left. Single leg extended mountain, left leg forward. Arms overhead. No leaning back. Don't be afraid to bend that upper knee. And how close are your hands overhead? Create space in your neck. Take a deep breath in. Warrior 3. Let's check out the hips on this side. Keep those hips square to the ground. If your hips are tight, your upper foot will spin outward. So that's why you take the upper baby toe, spin it down towards the floor, so all 5 of your upper toes are facing the ground to help you square your hips. Now press down into your 2 hands, 1 foot, lift your whole body higher, stay active, no hanging. And now let's move with breath. We're going to build some heat. Bring your left foot to meet the right. Chair pose, 1 inhale, hips and shoulders, keep that focus. Forward fold. Single leg mountain, right leg forward, take a deep breath in. Warrior 3, breathe out. Single leg mountain, left leg forward, arms up, take that deep breath in. Warrior 3, breathe out. From the top, chair pose, inhale, fold, exhale. Single leg mountain, right leg forward, breathe in. Warrior 3, breathe out. Single leg mountain, left leg forward, breathe in. Keep those hips square. Warrior 3, breathe out. From the top, chair pose. Can you bend your knees a little lower? Breathe in. Forward fold, press into your hands. Single leg mountain, right leg forward. Lift that leg a little higher. Breathe all the way in. Warrior 3, breathe all the way out. Single leg mountain, left leg forward. Upper leg lifts a little higher. Warrior 3. You have 1 more. From the top, chair pose. Fill your lungs, hold the air in. Fold and release. Single leg mountain, right leg forward. Breathe in, belly in. Warrior 3, keep those hips square to the floor. Switch sides, single leg mountain, left leg forward, breathe in. Warrior 3, breathe out. Big toes touch, forward fold. Warm up is complete, now we're ready to dive in. TRX chair, bend the knees, drop the hips. Keep the arms low this time. Roll the shoulders up over the hips. Your heels are in line with the middle toes, no wider. Without moving your physical feet, I want you to try to pull the floor apart with your heels. Yeah, like you're dragging your heels away from one another. Feel the muscles in your thighs, the stabilizing muscles fire up to support you, especially in your glutes. Now create that neutral pelvis, hip bones to belly button. Tailbone drops to the floor behind your heels. Without leaning back, keep the pressure in the straps. Sweep your arms overhead. Keep your hands as wide as necessary for shoulders to stay away from the ears. For 5, every exhale, bend your knees a little more. 4, every inhale, reach your hands a little higher. 3, you want mobility and stability. 2, take a deep breath in. Fold. Single leg mountain, right leg forward. Breathe in, squeeze the muscles in your upper leg. Warrior 3, hips square to the floor, practice. Bend that standing knee a little bit to help you square those hips more. 3-legged dog. Now we're gonna open up through the hips, not the shoulders, just the hips. Bend your upper knee to 90 degrees. Roll your right hip up over your left hip. So I want you to think about like creating the action of a dog in a fire hydrant. Now keep those shoulders square to the ground. What will help you, and I want to recommend today, is cactus open your arms. Bend your elbows to 90 degrees. Feel that space in your neck you just created. Draw your elbows towards the floor. Slide your shoulder blades together. Now press into your hands more. Lift your upper knee a little higher. Take a deep breath in. Standing leg raise. Pull your right knee into your chest and stand up. Place the foot cradles into your left hand. Grab the outside of your right knee with your right hand. Shoulders pull together onto your back. Option to hook your big toe with your first 2 fingers and extend your upper leg out in front of you. You don't have to straighten that leg all the way, but challenge yourself. So you either have your big toe or your knee. Draw your right leg over to the right. Now as that right leg opens, witness if your whole body wants to move with it, and gently square your hips and shoulders to face the anchor point. It's a bit of a tug of war, right? A push and a pull. Your right leg draws over to the right, but that right hip pulls forward. Breathe. Bring your upper leg back to center. Extend that upper leg long out in front of you. Reach your right arm to the sky. Breathe in. Half moon. Bring your right hand to your right hip and hinge. Look down to the ground to help you balance. Now both your hips and shoulders rotate. Right hip over left hip. Right shoulder over left shoulder. Option to reach your right arm to the sky. Draw the upper arm bones into the shoulder sockets. Your standing knee is soft. Squeeze the muscles in your upper leg. Take one more deep breath in. Stand up, big toes touch. Keep the pressure in the straps. Let's do a sun A and clear that away. One hand per foot cradle. Extended mountain. Take a deep breath in. Move back if there's slack. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Breathe in. Fold. Breathe out. TRX chair. Bend your knees. Drop your hips. Roll those shoulders up over the hips. Pause. Try to separate the floor with your heels. Neutral pelvis. Option to sweep those arms overhead for the additional challenge for 5. Keep separating the floor with the heels. 4, knit your ribs into your belly. 3, push the crown of your head away from your shoulders. 2, take a deep breath in. Fold. Single leg mountain, left leg forward. Take 1 deep breath in. Warrior 3, square those hips towards the floor. Pause. 3-legged dog. Bend your upper knee to 90 degrees. Roll your left hip up over the right hip. Shoulders square to the floor. Today, cactus, open those arms. Bend the elbows to 90 degrees. Press down into your hands as your elbows draw towards the floor. Shoulder blades together onto your back. Keep your standing heel anchored to the floor and lean into your hands a little more. Get that deep stretch. Take 1 more deep breath in. Standing leg raise. Pull that left knee into the chest, stand up. Place the foot cradles into your right hand. Grab the outside of your left knee with your left hand. Option, hook the big toe with your first 2 fingers and extend your upper leg out in front of you. Keep pressing down into that right hand to keep that upright posture. Neutral pelvis, shoulders together and down. Left leg over to the left. Hips and shoulders square towards your anchor point. And that's going to be the theme today. You're going to take so many different shapes with your body, and I always want you to come back to neutral pelvis and space in your neck. Bring that upper leg back to center. Kick your leg out in front of you. Reach your left arm high, breathe in. Half moon, look down to the ground. Left hand to your left hip as you hinge. Left hip over the right hip. Left shoulder over the right shoulder. Option to reach your left arm to the sky. For 5, standing knee is unlocked. 4, squeeze the muscles in your upper leg. 3, upper arm bones hug into shoulder sockets. 2, take a deep breath in. Big toes touch, stand up, really good work. 1 hand per foot cradle, let's clear it away. Extended mountain, breathe in. Forward fold, breathe out. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold, exhale. Press into your hands, slowly stand all the way up. Turn to face away from your anchor point. If you are against a wall or a door, now is the time you want to bring your straps to mid-length so that when you kick back, you don't hit the wall or door. Hands are at eyebrow height. Find your balance on your left foot and pull your right knee to the height of your hip. Now you're standing straight up, you're not leaning, but there's pressure on the straps and your hands are at eyebrow height. Push into your hands, separate your collarbones and feel your hands move apart, shoulder distance. Slowly bring your hands by your sides, keep that pressure on the straps. Right by your hips, palms face the ground. Don't get tugged back into your hands. You're standing on that left leg. You're going to keep your hips square, so no rotating. Hip bones to belly button. Belly pulls in. Airplane. Press into your hands and sweep your upper leg towards the anchor point behind you. Pause. This is neutral. Upper baby toe spins to face the floor. Got to keep those hips square. Don't let those upper toes spin out towards the right, okay? Keep them facing down, hips square. Now close your grip on the straps. Standing yoga split. You're holding onto the straps. Standing knee is unlocked. Pull your chest towards your standing thigh. Kick your right leg high to the sky. Breathe. Upper baby toe spins down, so you might not kick as high as you could if you were opening through those hips. Keep them square. Now come back through airplane to your starting position. Right knee to the height of the hip. Palms are open, pressing down. We're going to flow in and out of this a couple times. Flow through to airplane, close the grip, standing yoga split, keep those hips square. Breathe, a good stretch in that left hamstring. Slowly return to the starting position. You have just one more. Don't hold that breath. Airplane, that standing leg is working hard. Square those hips, standing yoga split, hold on tight, elbows are slightly bent. Breathe. Return to that starting position. Arms up overhead this time. Crescent lunge, lift up onto the ball of your standing foot. Roll forward, right foot to the floor out in front of you in that lunge position. Your feet are not glued to the floor. Don't be afraid to move them around, hips width apart. Push forward into your hands, shoulders over hips. Hip bones up to belly button. Keep that neutral pelvis. Warrior 2. Place the foot cradles into your left hand. Both arms up overhead. Tee open your arms. Left hand drops towards the anchor point. Pivot your back heel towards the middle of your body. Squeeze your back leg towards straight. Front knee bends to 90 degrees. Now if there's a big clock around your waist, your front foot is facing 12 on a clock. Toes of your back foot are anywhere between 9 and 11. Use the straps. Press down into that back hand and lift the sternum away from the tailbone. Shoulders over hips. You're going to stay low in your legs. Strong and long in your legs, and we're going to move the upper body. Reverse your warrior. Flip your right palm to the sky. Reach your right arm up and back. Notice that front leg. Don't straighten it. Press into your back hand. Lift up out of that low back. Draw your shoulders together onto your back. Take a deep breath in. Warrior 2. Breathe out. Reverse your warrior. Take a deep breath in. Warrior 2. Breathe out. You have just 3 more. Sink lower into those legs. Here we go. Reverse. Breathe in like you're sliding up and back. Warrior 2, breathe out. Reverse, take a deep breath in. Keep that front knee bent. Warrior 2, breathe out. One more, you got this. Reverse it. Take a deep breath in, reach up, up, up. Warrior 2, breathe out. Crescent lunge, arms up overhead. Pick your back heel up off the ground. 1 hand per foot cradle. Step your feet together. And we switch sides. Standing straight up, hands at eyebrow height. Take a clearing breath in. Open your mouth side out. Let's begin on the other side. Find your balance on your right foot. Pull your left knee to the height of your hip. Here you focus on keeping your hips squared. No rotating. Push into your hands, separate your collarbones. Hands come shoulder width apart. Slowly sweep your arms by your sides. Palms face the ground by your hips. So it's a nice, gentle chest opening stretch, but you're not getting tugged backwards. Airplane, begin to hinge. You shift your body weight as you extend your upper leg towards the wall behind you. Notice if those upper toes are facing the side wall and square them to the floor. Bend your standing knee to help you create that. Close your grip, standing yoga split. So we're only doing this 3 times. You wobble, you fall out, you come right back in. Lift your upper leg. See if you can touch the straps above you, but no cheating. Keep those toes squared to the floor. I know for me, I can't lift as high unless I cheat. Press into your hands, come back to that starting position. Fully extend the hips, stand all the way up. And here we go, 2 more. Pass through airplane, close the grip, bend the elbows and pull, standing yoga split. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Slowly return to that starting position. Shoulder blades together, lower belly pulls in. Pass through airplane, standing yoga split for 5, 4, lower belly pulls in, helps you stabilize. 3, upper toe faces the floor. 2, pass through center, this time arms up overhead for crescent lunge. Lift up onto the ball of your standing foot. Roll forward, left foot to the floor out in front of you, pause. Move your body so your hands are over your shoulders or in front of them a little bit. Bend your back knee and pull the hip bones up towards the belly button. Push into your hands, move your shoulders back over your hips. Breathe. Warrior 2. Place the foot cradles into your right hand. Tee open your arms. Right arm drops towards that anchor point. Drop your back heel towards the middle of your mat. Clock around your waist this time. Front foot faces 12 on a clock. Front knee lines up with your front middle toe. Toes of your back foot face anywhere between 3 and 1. Press into that back hand. Lift your sternum away from the tailbone. Pull the hip bones up towards the belly button. Tailbone drops down to the ground. Reverse your warrior. Left palm flips up to the ceiling. Reach that left arm up and back. Press into your back hand. Lift your chest up out of the low back. Take a deep breath in. Warrior 2, breathe out. Remember, keep that front knee bent the whole time. Left arm reaches up and back. Reverse your warrior. Breathe in. Warrior 2, breathe out. Use your right hand more. Use the straps. Up and back you go. Breathe in. Press into your back foot more. Warrior 2, breathe out. Inhale, up and back. Warrior 2, breathe out. We have just 1 more. I want you to get lower in your legs. Stay down there. Reverse your warrior. Take a deep breath in. Warrior 2, breathe out. Crescent lunge, both arms up overhead. Pick up your back heel. 1 hand per foot cradle. Step back, feet together. Let's turn around, do a sun A. Last one of the day. We're going to clear it away. Extended mountain. If there's slack, you move back. Forward fold, breathe out. Halfway lift, breathe in. Forward fold, breathe out. Press into your hands, slowly stand up. Walk underneath your anchor point, come to mid-calf length. So brace the barrel locks with your thumbs or the cam buckles or D-rings, and you're gonna pull the handles down right below the kneecap so the foot cradles come to mid-calf. Now you're gonna come down to the ground facing away from the anchor point. So let's practice putting the toes in appropriately. Come on down, facing the anchor point. Extend your legs out in front of you, toes underneath the anchor point. With your first 2 fingers, grab onto those foot cradles. Hold them up like stinky socks. Roll onto your back, hug your knees into your chest. Drop the foot cradles over your feet. Hug your knees into your chest. You're gonna tuck and roll. Important part is tuck. Keep those knees into the chest as you roll. Keep the pressure on the straps. And then come onto your hands and knees, facing away from the anchor point. If you want your face towel underneath your knees for cushion, you can do so. Here's the deal. We are going to do 5 forearm pikes. And you're gonna see just how high you can get your hips up over your shoulders from all the work you've already done. So we're gonna do 5. Then we're gonna go through a series on the right and the left-hand side on the floor, really opening up those hips. Then you're gonna do 5 more. The forearm pike is the prerequisite to a headstand. So this is part of your journey, part of the path. We're workshopping this today. So we're gonna take a little bit of time, and I need you to understand the appropriate setup for your arms is important. So I coined this the lobster claw, the pointer finger and thumb. Humor me, all right? And you're gonna take that pointer finger and thumb and wedge it to the eyelet of the opposite elbow, and then do that with the opposite hand to opposite elbow. That is so cool. It brings your elbows to shoulder width apart. You do not want your elbows any wider or any more narrow. That is your solid, sturdy foundation. Creates just the right amount of mobility and stability. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna face away from the anchor point, come down onto your elbows, and then lobster claw. Point your finger and thumb into the eyelets of the elbows. Create the distance of the elbows. Okay, and then right here, push your elbows into the ground and move your shoulders away from the ears. Do you feel that? Shoulders to ears, that's a no. Push into the floor, shoulders away from ears, that's a yes. You've been practicing that. Now we're gonna do it upside down. I want you to watch the first one. You're gonna keep your elbows exactly where they are. Bring your hands out in front of you, palms face the floor. With your hands shoulder width apart, that's a huge stretch on your shoulders. So here's what's allowed. You can bring your thumbs to touch, but don't bring those elbows any wider. Come into a plank position. You're watching the first one. We're gonna do 5 together. Plank position, squeeze the muscles in your legs, neutral pelvis, shoulders away from ears. Now keep your gaze between your forearms the whole time. As you pull, press into your feet, pull the hips up over the shoulders. I'm looking between the forearms. I'm pushing my forearms into the ground, space in my neck. I can hang out up here. My shoulders are stacked, my hips are stacked over my shoulders. Belly pulls in. Slowly return to that starting position. Knees to ground. All right, so now you get set up with me. Elbows to the ground. Lobster claw the elbows for the perfect distance. Spin your palms down to the ground. Thumbs come to touch. We're gonna try some hang time up there. And this is you working on that mobility and stability to earn those hips over the shoulders. No forcing. We got this. It's a practice. Plank position. Squeeze the muscles in your legs. Look between your forearms. Keep your gaze there. Roll those hips up over the shoulders. Push your forearms into the ground. Space in your neck. Space, 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 space. Belly in. Slowly come down, plank position. Again, hips up over shoulders. Breathe, belly in. Shoulder blades, push away from the ears. Slowly come down. So now you're working against gravity. So good. 3 more. Hips up over shoulders. Pull your hip bones, listen, away from the belly button. Slowly come down. So when you're upside down, it's opposite. 2 more. Hips up over shoulders. So you are building to 5 reps in a row. Maybe today it's 1, tomorrow it's 2, the next time is 3, 4, then 5. Last one. Hips up over shoulders. Breathe. Slowly return to the starting position. Knees down to the ground. Come up onto your hands. Take a deep breath in. Whoo, let it go. Deep breath out. Slide both foot cradles into your left foot. Now we're going to get into those hips. Have your blocks handy. Maybe grab your towel. Place it underneath your left knee. Hands down to the ground, shoulder width. Step your right foot to the outside of your right hand as many times as it takes. Get that foot all the way forward, knee over ankle. Slide your left knee back, so you might have to move that towel. Create as much space between your front foot and back knee as possible. Now here's where the blocks come in handy, or shoe boxes or books. You can place as many as you need underneath your hands because I need you to not round your shoulders. See that? If I round through my shoulders, I lose the stretch in my pelvis. I'm tucking the tailbone under. So I need to draw my shoulder blades together and down, shoulders away from ears to create that neutral pelvis. And then I'm going to press into both my feet. Always optional to lift that back knee up off the ground. If you can, you must. Notice I'm pointing my ankle. In TRX Yoga, we plantar flex. You're going to press into the top of the foot. Some people like where the shoelaces would be. I like it the crease of my ankle, closer to the foot. Find that semi-comfortable spot. Keep pulling your hip bones up to the belly button. No sagging the hips to the floor. You want to squeeze. You want to strengthen and lengthen. For 3, 2, back knee to the ground. Bring your right hand on top of your right knee. Left hand on top of that, stack your shoulders over your hips, a little King Arthur stretch. Lean into your front foot. The closer you bring your chest towards your thigh with a flat back, the more ease you'll feel in the hips. You want a deeper stretch, push your shoulders back over your hips as you pull the hip bones to the belly button. Option for that King Arthur stretch, reach your left arm back, grab the straps behind you, gently pull your left heel to the tailbone. You have the option of reaching back with your right hand as well. You pull your left heel towards the glute as you lean into that front foot. Elbows hug together behind your back. Hip bones really slide up to belly button. You do not want to dump into that low back. You put your attention here, you'll have a better access to lift those hips up over the shoulders when we do 5 more pikes. Slowly release the foot. Make sure you're breathing. Humble warrior. Interlace your hands behind your low back, or you can use your towel to bring your hands shoulder width apart. Pull your arms low, separate the collarbones, breathe in. Drop your chest to the inside of your front thigh. Press into both of your feet. Option, core challenge, lift that back foot up off the floor. For 5, pull your hands away from your shoulders. 4, push the crown of your head away from the shoulders. 3, hip bones to belly button. 2, bring your hands down to the ground, one hand to either side of your front foot. Back knee to the mat for half split. Grab those blocks. Straighten your right leg. Sit back towards your left heel. Pull the ball of your right foot up away from the floor. Drag your right hip back, left hip forward so your hips are square. And now hands are under your shoulders. I love blocks here because if you round your shoulders, you are robbing yourself of the stretch behind your body in your hamstring. So it's so crazy. It's all the way up here. You slide those shoulder blades together and all of a sudden you feel more in that hamstring. With those shoulder blades together, now you start to lean forward, chest forward, and you breathe. Do not hold your breath through this. Your right leg stays where it is, but create a dragging action. Right hip back, left hip forward. Take one more deep breath in. Fold, breath out. Begin to straighten those arms, bend into your front knee, and walk forward. Runner's lunge with a twist. My friend Chris, you'll find him for some of the recovery workouts, Chris Nentars. He calls this the greatest stretch on earth, and I can't agree with him more. And what you're going to do is you can bring a block to the inside of your front foot or your hand to the ground. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Come into that runner's lunge, option to lift your back knee up off the ground. And now you're slowly going to roll your right shoulder up over the left shoulder. Separate the collarbones. Don't let those shoulders become earrings. Option to reach your right arm to the sky. I need you to press into that left hand and 2 feet. You lift and lengthen your body for 5. 4, twist from the space between your shoulder blades. 3, 2, upper hand to the ground, back knee to the mat. Runner's lunge one more time. Bring both hands to the inside of your right foot. You want your right foot flat on the floor so you can move it around a little bit. Blocks are great tools here. I'm going to invite you to come into a deeper lunge with a neutral pelvis and flat back. So you have the option of staying exactly as you are on your hands, or bring your forearms down to a block or the floor. Slide your left knee back. Maybe you lift that back knee up off the ground. Shoulders away from ears. Shoulder blades together and down. Hip bones lift up to belly button. Tailbone presses towards your back heel. For 5, squeeze the muscles in your back leg. 4, press into your feet a little more. 3, 2, back knee to the ground. Come up onto your hands. Return both knees to the mat. Bring your right knee to meet your left knee. Slide your right foot into both foot cradles and free your left foot. We're going to repeat this on the other side. You can move that towel underneath your right knee. Runner's lunge, step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. And pause here. Block underneath your hands are great tools. And sometimes you use the tool and you'll feel more. That's when you know you've done the right thing. The block, the boxes, whatever you're using is not going to steal from how good you're doing. It's going to assist. Lift that back knee up off the ground, situate your back foot, pointer flex, move the straps where most comfortable. Hip bones pull up to belly button. Tailbone descends towards your back heel. Pardon, I have a frog in my throat. Separate your collarbones. Pull your chest away from your hips. Can you squeeze the muscles in your back leg a little more? For 3, 2, King Arthur stretch. Bring your back knee to the ground. Left hand on top of your left knee. Right hand on top of that. Create that flat back, and now slowly you'll intensify the stretch the more you lean your shoulders back over your hips. How far you go is up to you, depending upon keeping that neutral pelvis. You arch into the low back, you've pushed your shoulders back too far. Option for that King Arthur stretch is you reach your right arm back, grab the straps, pull your right heel towards the glute. As you lean into that front foot, like literally strengthening that front leg, reach back with the left hand, optional. Each phase progresses it. Something to work up towards. Pull your heel towards the glute as you slide the hip bones up towards the belly button. You know, something that I don't find many people talk about is that you can access your core through opening your hips. And proof is going to be when we're done with these stretches on this side, we're going to do those 5 more pikes, and you see how much more range of motion you have, how many more muscle fibers in your core you can fire up. It's amazing. Take one more deep breath in. Deep breath out. Humble warrior. Slowly release your back foot. Bring your left hand to your left knee. Interlace your hands behind your low back. Pull your arms low. You can use that towel so your hands are wider away from one another. Pull your arms low. Open the chest. Breathe in. Drop your chest to the inside of your front thigh. Option, press into that back foot and lift your back knee up off the ground. 5, pull the hands away from the shoulders. 4, does not matter if your knee is on or off the mat, you keep breathing. 3, 2, one hand to either side of your front foot, back knee to the ground, half split. Sit back towards your right heel, straighten that left leg, dorsiflex that left foot. We want to open up that hamstring of the left side. Blocks underneath hands are great tools. I'm going to keep saying blocks, but you use what you have at home. Your left knee, it's unlocked, but your leg is straight. Drag your left hip back, right hip forward. Square your hips to the top of your mat if you're using one, and fold with that flat back. As soon as you fold and you feel your chin tuck into your chest or your shoulders separate from one another, you've gone too far. You'll actually feel it more if you straighten your arms a little bit. Lift the chin away from the chest and slide the shoulder blades together. Deep breath in, pull the chest away from the hips. Fold a little deeper, breathe out. One more, deep breath in. Deep breath out. World's greatest stretch. And slowly release, bend into your front knee, walk your hands forward. Option to bring the block to the inside of your left foot. Right hand to the floor or a block, right to the inside of that left foot. Bring your left hand to your left hip. Press into that left foot like you're going to stand up on it. Option to lift your back knee up off the ground. Slowly roll your left shoulder up over the right shoulder. Option to reach your left arm to the sky. Press into both of your feet for 5. 4, make sure you're twisting from the shoulder blades, not your upper arm. 3, you can take your gaze towards your upper hand. 2, take a deep breath in. Upper hand to the ground, back knee to the ground. Runner's lunge, deeper variation. Option to keep the block there. I like to turn it sideways for this. Both hands to the inside of your left foot again. So don't be afraid to heel toe your left foot around so that foot is flat on the floor, no rolling the ankle. Slide that right knee back a little further. Option to stay on your hands and lift your back knee up off the ground, or maybe you come down to your forearms. Forearms to a block, forearms to the floor. Here's the deal, your left foot is forward. If that left elbow is not sturdy on something, if your left elbow is floating in space, that's your body saying, please come back up to your hands, and you have to listen. Come into that deepest variation. For 5, squeeze the muscles in your legs. 4, push the crown of your head away from the shoulders, more space in the neck. 3, 2, back knee to the ground. Come up onto your hands, both knees to the mat. Take the block, move it off to the side, and now slide one foot, it's a bit of a party trick, into each foot cradle. You have 5 more forearm pikes. Come up onto your knees for a moment if accessible. When you are upside down, to create a neutral pelvis, we have to do the opposite of what we've been doing when we've been standing right side up. So when you're upside down, locate your hip bones. You will pull them away from the belly button, like you're arching the low back. But when you're upside down, that's actually going to create neutral. Because when you're upside down, the tailbone really wants to tuck under. So it's you pulling the hip bones down to neutral. Hip bones away from belly button. Let's give it a shot. Come down to your forearms. You're going to lobster claw your eyelets of your elbows. And make sure, if you have a yoga mat, your yoga mat is plumb line underneath your anchor point. Make sure your elbows are at least 3/4 of the way to the top of the mat. You don't want to be too close to that anchor point. Hands down to the ground out in front of you. Thumbs are allowed to touch. Elbows no wider than those shoulders. All right, we have 5. I want you to experience how much more range of motion you have. Here we go. Plank position. Squeeze the muscles in your legs. Look between your forearms. Keep your gaze there. Roll your hips up over your shoulders. Pause. Hip bones away from belly button. Push your elbows into the floor. More space in your neck. Slowly come back to that starting position. Again, belly pulls into spine. Shoulder blades together. Together. Push the floor with your elbows. Slowly return to starting position. 3 more. Roll it up. Pause up there. Hip bones away from belly button. Slowly return. Ooh, you have 2 more. Your knees are always welcome to the floor in between. You go at your pace. Breathe. Try to wrinkle the floor between your elbows. Hug in. You'll feel those shoulder blades hug together a little more. Last one. Here we go. Roll it up. That hang time is not me being magical. It's my hips stacking over my shoulders, so gravity's doing its thing. Slowly come down. Knees to the ground. So if it was easeful for you to come up onto your hands, to keep your hips up over your shoulders, it's because they were stacked. Right? You see somebody floating upside down, it's not like, oh my gosh, they must be so strong. No, they have found their center of gravity upside down. You stack the joint system to create ease. You're ready. Without further ado, let's play. You're going to take your left foot into both foot cradles. Free your right foot. I want you to watch me first. You're going to come down to your elbows. I'm going to do 1 per side and then let you try 1 per side. You can come back to this as often as you want to. Okay? So you are going to pike, and your free foot is your right foot. You do not lift your right leg off the ground. There should be no strain in your quadriceps. Your right foot should float. And over time, when you get those hips stacked over your shoulders, your free foot will float. So watch. Keep tension in the straps 100% of the time. You're going to come down to the elbows. Same setup. Lobster claw the eyelets of your elbows. This time, interlace your fingers out in front of you. Bring them down to the ground. Open up your palms. Get it ready for the crown of your head. Where's the crown of your head? Look between your knees. And there's space between my neck, my chin and my throat, right? And I'm just going to gently drop the crown of my head into my hands. Now, if there's a percentage, no more than 30% of my body weight is in my head. I am driving into my elbows. My head almost floats in my hands. No pressure in the head. Press into both of your feet. Right foot's on the ground. Left foot drives into the straps. I begin to pike. Here's that forearm pike. Forearm pike. I keep hopping the right foot forward. Drag the left foot into the body, hips over shoulders. Look, see how that right leg is floating? I'm not magical. I've gotten my hips over my shoulders. I keep pressing into the straps. I'm not going to let it go. And I square my hips. I don't let my upper foot rotate open. I rotate all 5 toes to face the same direction of the anchor point. Slowly press into the forearms, hover the head above the floor, bend the right knee into chest, and come down. Okay. So now you're going to come with me. I'm going to get you set up, and then you're going to go. Come down to your forearms and your knees. Left foot is in the straps. Lobster claw the eyelets of your elbows. Get them situated. Interlace your hands out in front of you. Open up your palms. Get ready for the crown of your head. Keep space between your chin and throat, but look between your knees. Gently place the crown of your head into your hands. Right here, right now, push into your elbows. Move your shoulders away from your ears. There's no pressure in the head. It's all your shoulder and upper back strength. Plank position. And now slowly drag your hips up over the shoulders. Hop the right foot forward, left foot drags in. Keep going, keep going. Maybe today your right leg will float up off the floor. Hollow the lower belly. Right leg can reach straight up to the sky. You keep pressing down into the straps. Elbows will hug together. Push them into the floor. More space in your neck and shoulders. Go ahead, lift up a little higher for 3, 2. Bend your right knee. Bring both knees down to the ground. Slowly come up onto your hands. Phenomenal work. Whether your right leg lifted off the ground or not,